Thank you very much, Charles. It's 28 minutes to 9. Let's turn then to the situation in Gaza. I spoke earlier to the Deputy Israeli Foreign Minister, Sharren Haskel. There have been fresh reports, as you heard there this morning, from Gaza of people being killed at an aid distribution point in the south of the Strip. The Director General of Nasser Hospital said more than 24 people had been killed by Israeli fire. The IDF said that troops fired towards a few individual suspects who deviated from the designated access routes and advanced towards its troops. Well, I began my conversation with Sharren Haskel by putting it to her that this was not the first instance of such reports, and that strongly suggests that the new Israeli and US-backed mechanism for aid distribution isn't working the way it should.
Oh, no, absolutely not. First of all, I don't know of these reports from this morning. I know there's been reports in international media from yesterday about shots being fired at distribution center, which were a lie. It was Hamas's lies that the international media is actually spreading without confirming it, actually. And that's actually, look, if you want me to check about reports from this morning that I haven't
I can
heard
tell you,
about,
I can tell you about them.
I can check this, but
I can tell you
look,
because the IDF has already released a statement in response, and the IDF confirms that its troops did carry out what they called warning fire towards suspects who were off the designated access routes. But then it says additional shots were directed near a few individual suspects who advanced towards the troops. The IDF is aware of reports regarding casualties. The details are being looked into. This is a daily story now, and it suggests strongly that this new aid mechanism is not working. Civilians should not be being killed when they go to collect aid.
So first of all, this is a report from 9 minutes, okay? From 9 minutes ago. This is not a daily routine. This is Hamas propaganda, who is actually a daily routine. Yesterday, as we've shown also footage from a drone showing Hamas militant shooting at Palestinians trying to go towards the humanitarian aid area to actually collect aid. And you need to understand, Hamas doesn't want this aid to be distributed. You know why? Because it actually takes from Hamas its civilian power over the Gazan citizens. And so it does everything in its capability to actually disrupt that. And time after time, you're actually falling and reporting straight out Hamas propaganda, same as yesterday. This morning, just 9 minutes ago, the IDF
I just put to you an IDF statement that agrees that they shot at civilians, at people on the street.
No, hold on. I want to read to you the actual Israel Defense Force declaration, who was put out 10 minutes ago while I'm already waiting to be speaking to you. So it says that earlier today,
this is the same
today,
thing. I'm just going to stop you because this is exactly the same thing that I just read to you. It's the same document.
No, this is IDF troops who identified several suspects moving towards them, deviating from the designated route.
This is exactly what I just put to you. It's exactly the same thing.
First of all, these are suspects who were deviating from the route, okay?
I said that.
These were, okay, and they failed to retreat. This was not inside the humanitarian distribution area, but was in the road towards it, okay? Now, we are aware of these reports regarding casualties, and the detail of the incidents are being looked into. Whether there are actual casualties or not has not been confirmed yet, and I suggest, just like yesterday, you should probably hold back with reports who are based solely on Hamas propaganda day after day.
What I put to you was the IDF statement and offered you the opportunity to comment on that, which is what you've done. I want to talk about what happened. Just 1 second, please.
What you said...
No, I read to you the IDF statement in response to the reports. I'd like to talk about...
that it was confirmed that yesterday and today, actually the IDF shot civilian Palestinians who were killed, and you were also putting the numbers out, which is an absolute lie. And it hasn't been confirmed. Not yesterday, not today. So I suggest you be accurate about it and not try to inflate or actually speak, straight away what Hamas is actually reporting.
Israel
Wait
says,
until things are actually
if I may,
being investigated.
Please, Israel
Did
says,
Israel confirm
please,
anyone died?
Israel,
Did anyone?
please,
Did
you
Israel
have to
confirm
let me.
anyone
You
died
have
by
to
the
let me
IDF?
speak. You
No.
have to let me speak.
Well, I am,
Israel's.
but please
Please.
be accurate.
You have to. I'm about to be accurate. Please let me speak. Israel says that it's a lie. Israel says what happened on Sunday is a lie. Now, I have spoken to medics working in Gaza who report dealing with bodies and they report dealing with gunshot wounds on Sunday morning. Now, today, the IDF acknowledges that shots were fired. On Sunday, the IDF says that no shots were fired. The UN, Antonio Guterres, has suggested an independent investigation into what happened on Sunday. Surely that would be the best way to get to the bottom of this. So will Israel agree to take part in an independent investigation?
Look, the fact is that day and night, Hamas is actually putting out propaganda that is being broadcasted in international media, creating major damages. And let me remind you that the BBC has already, up to 3 months ago, reported 80 mistakes that it actually apologized
We
for.
are moving away
These
from the question
mistakes,
at hand,
hold
which
on,
is will
but
Israel agree
this
to
is
an
very
independent
important.
investigation?
So I understand what the medics see at the hospital, but unfortunately, the medics are not on the field. And as we've shown images yesterday from a drone showing Hamas militant shooting at crowds, trying to reach the area of the
It is
humanitarian
a
aid
limited piece of
distribution
footage.
center.
Why doesn't
So
the
I,
IDF release more? And we're
so
still moving
what
away.
I
We're still
suggest, what
moving
I
away from the
suggest,
question at hand.
no,
Please,
but the
this
thing
is not
is that
serving.
you are treating this information as a complete fact before waiting for any kind of confirmation.
We
And that doesn't just endanger, this is just not reporting, and losing your integrity, not
Sharren
reporting the
Haskel,
truth to your
please.
crowd,
This is
but it
not.
actually
This is
but it
not a
actually
conversation.
demonizes the state of Israel.
This is not a
That's what it actually
conversation,
does.
and this is not
Well,
serving our listeners.
well,
Please,
I would
please
really appreciate
respond.
if you stick to the facts.
Please
Israel,
respond to the question,
look,
which is will Israel agree to take part in an independent investigation into the killings on Sunday? Reported
so
in Gaza, which Israel denies. Why not let an independent investigation reveal the truth?
So, look, in many cases, we've actually allowed independent investigation, and that depends on the situation. The fact is that every case that is being reported, including many fake cases by Hamas, are being investigated by Israel, and evidence are being provided not just to governments, but also to foreign medias. Like yesterday's footage that we've released of Hamas shooting at crowds. Do I trust Guterres to actually create a neutral and non-biased investigation? Absolutely not.
It doesn't need to
Guterres is
be.
actually,
It
hold
doesn't
on,
need to be
Guterres,
carried
but
out by the UN.
I,
Who would
I,
you
I
choose?
understand,
An
I
ally?
understand,
The
but
US? The
Guterres,
UK? Who would you choose to make
look,
an independent
excuse me,
investigation?
Anna, please let me finish my sentence as well. It's important to understand that Guterres, time after time, have picked a side. He's politicized the whole event and has put himself very obviously, including yesterday's declaration, which failed to even mention Hamas once when there's full evidence of Hamas actually shooting on crowds. So, do I trust his opinion? Absolutely not. In many cases, we investigate in depth and provide evidence. Will that help with international media? No. Like your outlet, the BBC, you have reported 80 times and apologized for 80 mistakes done, grave mistakes, who have demonized Israel. They absolutely ignore the facts, including the World Kitchen organization, who was independently investigated by Australia, by an independent representative of the Army of Australia. And it clearly said that this event was a tragic event who was unintentionally. Yet, what did the media reported after that? The complete opposite. So, we will continue to oblige the international law as we do always. We'll continue to complete full investigation on any case, even many propaganda cases that Hamas is showing. And in certain cases that we do think there's need of an independent investigation, we'll do so as well.
That's Sharren Haskel, the Deputy Israeli Foreign Minister. She was talking just at the end there about the incident in which 7 aid workers were killed, 3 of them who worked for World Central Kitchen. The IDF investigated that. 2 senior Israeli military officers were sacked. The IDF called it a grave accident. We've also approached the BBC for comment about those claims that Sharren Haskel made about 80 mistakes that the BBC has made in its coverage about Israel. It's worth pointing out, and I know you know this, but it is worth pointing out that while I work for the BBC, I am not a spokesperson for the organisation, which is why we have approached the BBC for a comment on that for you.